Hey friend, Roger Christopherson here again with another overview. I've done a few of these and just tried it out a few different times and people seem to like it. But before we get to babbling about whatever I'm going to babble about, I ask you to like, share, and subscribe to keep this music alive. What we do here is we kind of talk about music from bands we love, sometimes new releases, sometimes overlooked stuff. And this one is kind of a little bit of both. And that's kind of what we do. I babble. People comment. It's kind of a fun little thing. If you're not into that, sorry about it. Not really, but that's what we do here. But anyway, this week I'm going to be babbling about the McAuley Schenker group. Some people love this. Some people hated it. I personally love this version of the band. It was kind of a different band altogether, honestly, but Michael Schenker is just one of those guitarists that I've just fell in love with, and it was this version of the band that I came to know him. So for me, it's got this personal, attachment to it. That happens through life. We come to know these bands in different spots and areas and stuff. And I think it was, Headbangers Ball. I kind of remember them being on that, and just hearing, I can't remember what the first song was. It might have been "Give Me Your Love." I think it was "Give Me Your Love." I don't know. I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure it was "Give Me Your Love" off the first album. And of course, I had to run right out and get it. And I just absolutely loved that album. And I hadn't really heard much of Michael Schenker before this, so this is kind of like what I mean when we come to know these bands. And when the second album came out, the first album had Mitch Perry on it too, which I knew from Billy Sheehan's version of Talus, because Talus was I grew up near the Buffalo area, and Billy Sheehan was a huge hero from this area. And so when he did that live Speed on Ice thing, he had Mitch Perry playing on that. He had kind of his own version of Talus. And I remember buying that cassette tape and listening to it over and over and over again. When I was a little kid, I just wanted to be like Billy Sheehan. And so I knew Mitch Perry from that, and he was involved in this as well. But then, he left after the album and Save Yourself for this, collection here that I'm talking about. I actually didn't say what the name of this was, did I? That's the McAuley Schenker Group. It's called Bad Boys, the McAuley Schenker Group Story, 1987 to 1992. It's when Michael Schenker met up with Robin McAuley, who I was not familiar with either one of these guys, quite honestly, at this point in time. And I was just instantly hooked by Robin McAuley's voice and Michael Schenker's guitar playing. I just thought it was a great mix. I was into that style of music at that time. Still like this kind of music, of course, but it was huge. 87, this was the peak of this style of music. It was the more melodic rock, and I know Michael came from a little bit harder edge in the first few albums, of course, Scorpions and UFO, stuff like that. So this is a little bit more melodic, hair metal-y type sounding type stuff. So I know a lot of people kind of didn't care for it, but I absolutely loved it when it first came out. And I remember when Save Yourself came out, and the very the title track, that's probably one of my favorite actually songs from this whole era came out, and super into that. Another big thing for me was when the self-titled MSG. It's self-titled, but they called it MSG, but there was a previous one called MSG too, but we know that was different. This one had Jeff Pilson on bass and then James Kotak on drums, so that was kind of a mini little supergroup actually on that album, although I think it was the worst performing as far as sales go of the three. But anyway, and then there's just the unplugged CD thrown in the end here. And the reason I'm calling this an overview and not a review was because in the past I've done this and people seem to appreciate it, so I was just thought maybe I'd do it again, because I was ready to rush out and buy this thing and just cat out of the bag right from the start. I didn't get this, but I'll give my reasons why, because I pretty much have everything on here already, almost everything, and I'm still hesitant as to whether I was going to get this or not, but I'll just kind of quickly go over what it is about this that I think is cool and what I maybe think isn't good enough for me to go run out and get it. Now, I haven't actually read anywhere if this is remastered or not, quite honestly. I'm thinking about it. I don't know if it's remastered or not, but for me, probably about 80% of the time when I get a remastered version of something, I don't like it as much as the original version. It happens a lot. I'm surprised at how often that happens. So remastering for me, it's not an instant, yeah, I gotta have it. Although with this version of the band, yeah, Michael Schenker in general, I pretty much have to get everything Michael Schenker's ever done. And I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. I was a member of his fan club way back when I was like really young. I mean, like teens, and I actually, it was like the earlier version of crowdfunding or whatever they call it nowadays, but he solicited his fans to pay for his original solo album, his very first instrumental solo album, the all acoustic one called Thank You. And I did it, got my name on the front cover of that album. That's like one of my favorite things I have in my collection is that. So yeah, definitely big Michael Schenker fan. So anyway, back to this. It's so I've got a lot of all these extra things that they have on here, and all these bonus tracks they're offering are, in my opinion, not all that like enticing to buy this. Not saying they're not good, but it's not super enticing for me, who's already got all this stuff, because I've, when they have the reissues of this stuff already, or the singles and oddball stuff that's already come out, I've already collected most of this stuff in different shapes or forms. So like on the first disc, they have the bonus tracks of Give Me Your Love and Follow the Night, the edit. I don't know. I'm not a big person. This is just personally. This is my own opinion. I'm not a big, fan of the shorter version of a song. I will prefer the song the way it was originally intended. So it's not super enticing. That's the only bonus stuff on the first disc. Save Yourself. It's got a couple things extra on it. It still has the Save Yourself single edit. It's got This Is My Heart edit, Anytime edit. There's a radio edit of Anytime. There's Bad Boys acoustic, which I'm not sure which version of that acoustic it is, because I didn't get it, so I don't know. I haven't found anywhere where that came from, so I don't know if I have that or not. But then they have There Has to Be a Way, which is listed as a bonus track instrumental, but the version I have of this already has it in the middle of the album anyway, so I'm not sure what they're thinking there. And they don't have Take Me Back listed as a bonus track, but Take Me Back was a bonus on one of the earlier releases, and that's actually an awesome song. Take Me Back, great song. That's actually, they had it as a bonus track, I know, on a previous release. I don't remember what year that was, but I've had it for a very long time, so it's probably way early on. Like, it might have been on the cassettes or, way back in the day too. I don't remember completely on that one, but great song anyway. That's all I'm getting at. That's like an awesome song. They do have one B-side included as a bonus called Vicious. I have that, and it was on one of the singles off of this album. I don't remember which single it was. Probably whatever the ballad was on this one. This Is My Heart, maybe, or Anytime. I think it was on Anytime. Very vague memories of this stuff. I probably should have dug through my collection and dug it all out again, but I didn't. But that B-side Vicious. There's not anything, in my opinion, of them that is bad, but it's definitely not one of their stronger songs. In fact, it's very much on the weaker side of their songs. So not, if you don't have this already, I don't know if that would be something to rush right out and spend your money on. Although I will say the price point on this was not very high. I think it was like right around $40, plus shipping on some of the stuff, depending where you get it. So it's not really a bad price if you don't have this stuff already, but I'm going to get to that in a sec. And then there's the bonus stuff on self-titled, MSG. A whole lot of single edits, well, a couple single edits. Then there's acoustic version of When I'm Gone. And then these two, I don't know exactly what they are. There's one called the alternative CHR version. I don't think I have that. And then the AOR version of Nightmare, which I know I have on something else. So there's only one thing I didn't have there, and I don't even know what that is really. So if somebody knows what that is, please fill me in, because I'm a little bit ignorant on that one. I guess I'll have to admit that I don't know exactly what that is. And then they also include something like that on Unplugged Live. The bonus tracks here have already been released as like a full collection on their own, and I believe that was called Nightmare EP. And the only thing that was not included on that was Only You Can Rock Me, but if you have the video version of this, they have that in there. So it has been released already, just not on CD. And it doesn't say that anywhere. I just actually remember that from this release. And they also have that Never Ending Nightmare listed as acoustic CHR version on here, but it was on the regular version of the Nightmare Unplugged EP. So anyway, that's like everything that was extra. And out of all that extra stuff, there's only like 2 things that I'm not even sure if I have or not. I think I might actually have 2 of those already, but I'm not 100% sure. So if anybody has any more info on this and they want to clarify what any of that is, feel free to share. But if you don't have any of that extra bonus stuff, for $40, actually it's not a bad idea to get this, because if you want that extra bonus stuff and you're a completist, kind of like I am, even though I'm probably going to end up buying this at some point anyway, I admit it, but maybe not quite yet. Wait till it goes on a sale somewhere or something, I don't know. But if you don't have it all and you want that extra bonus stuff, I can understand why you'd want to get this, because the price is decent and you have all the extra stuff and it's all one, you know, in one area. If you're a completist and you actually have to have everything, the price isn't that bad. Like I said, I don't know if it's remastered, so don't know if that's worth it. Sometimes, like I said, I'm not into that, so I could care less if I get that version of it or not. If it is, you know, better or worse, I don't know. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I love this version of the band. The songs are great. If you're not like into, you know, this era of the band, or you're not really sure about it, like I said, for the price, it's worth the, you know, diving in and getting it just for Michael's guitar playing alone, because his guitar playing on these albums is insane. You know, he didn't hold back. You know, there's some songs that's a little bit more melodic playing, but not much. Like some of the stuff, he's still tearing it up like he always did on his earlier stuff. In fact, I find it really fun listening to it, like him play that style of music, you know, the heavier guitar, faster, or, you know, whatever you want to call it, solos over melodic songs. I think he does it great. He just has a very expert ear when it comes to that, and he just, I don't know, it adds a lot to it. And then Robin McAuley's voice, I just really love. So all of this in this era, I loved. Even the like not as well selling version of MSG. That album was a little bit darker than the first two. The first two are a little bit more fun and, you know, tongue-in-cheek lyrics. Some of the lyrics are a little cheesy on the first couple, but they get a little bit more serious on the self-titled one here. But the songs are still good, and it gets a little bit heavier, honestly. And then the unplugged stuff is just a cool gotta-have type thing for me anyway. It was just fun hearing that stuff. Acoustic, I'm not always into the acoustic stuff, but Michael's playing is so cool that I really enjoyed it. And if you've never seen the acoustic unplugged thing that Rat did, they have Michael Schenker playing guitar on that, and he just sounds great on that stuff. In fact, my favorite song on that whole thing with the Rat thing is Michael playing lead guitar on Born on a Bayou. In fact, that made me love that song so much. I've always wanted to try to get one of my bands to do it, and I've yet to been able to convince anybody to do that, but maybe someday. I won't give up. But anyway, I'm letting this one go kind of long. It's probably the only one I'm going to do this weekend, because quite honestly, there was not a whole heck of a lot that came out. Once again, it's kind of a weak for releases, and I saw this and was excited at first, and then it was kind of like hemming and hawing, so still on the fence. But at this point, I have not gotten it. So let me know what you guys think, as always. And maybe whether I will or whether I won't pick this up is yet to be determined. But until I decide, or maybe until I do, we will see you.